All right, good morning and happy Friday again. Welcome back to part 2. We just finished solving these 4 problems. We're going to talk about problems where I have 2 secants. So we're going to skip this one. We'll come back to talk about it a little bit. It will be helpful in a minute. And the process for solving this one is we take the part of the secant outside the circle and we multiply that by the whole secant. So I would look at the part outside the circle, like here it's 3. But how do I find the whole secant? Well, if part of it is 3 and the other part is 16, well then what's the whole secant? Must be 19. I would just add up the 2 pieces. So similarly, here, the part outside the circle is x on the right, on the left, x, and the whole secant, I add those 2 pieces up, just add x and 14. And I'll set that equal to the part outside the circle times the whole secant. That would be 8 plus x plus 6. And I changed that problem there to 8 plus x plus 6 instead of plus 3. So now I've got these 2 expressions. I set them equal to each other. And let me simplify the right side here. So x times x plus 14 equals 8 times x plus 14. So now I've got, if I distribute to both parts, x squared plus 14x equals 8x plus 112. And anytime you notice an x squared, then you know we've got to get the rest of this stuff on the other side. We're going to end up factoring. So if I subtract 8x and subtract 112, then I end up with x squared plus 6x minus 112. And if I find the factors of 112, 2 and 56, 4 and 28, 8 and 14, I want the factors that combine to a positive 6. So these 2 are 6 apart. If I want a positive 6, then I want positive 14 and negative 8. So I want x positive 14 and negative 8. So the roots of this would be negative 14 and positive 8. And we only want the positive value for x. I can't have a length that is negative 14 inches long. I can't be negative 14 miles from Morris, Illinois. So I'm only going to take that positive value. So x would be just 8. So first step, set up your product. Part outside the circle times the whole secant. Set those 2 equal to each other. Part 2 would be to simplify, and part 3, if you need to, is factor. So I changed this problem as well. I did x minus 8 instead. And let's do the same thing. Part outside the circle times the whole secant. Just add the 2 parts. Part outside the circle times the whole secant, just add the two parts. So if I simplify 2 times x minus 6 equals x times x plus 9, and let's distribute to both parts. So 2x minus 12 equals x squared plus 9. And I see an x squared, I know I need to factor, so I want to get an equation with everything on the same side. So I want to move that stuff over there, so I can subtract 2x and add 12. Subtract 2x and add 12. And I'm left with x squared plus 7x plus 12. And again, I want to find the factors of 12 that add to 7. So 2 and 6 doesn't work. 3 and 4 does. If I want positive 7, then I want positive 3 and positive 4. So x plus 3 and x plus 4. And our last two here, the only difference is if your whole segment is outside the circle, if you have a tangent like this, then I'll do the same thing. I'll take part outside the circle times the whole secant. So part outside the circle times the whole secant, x plus 5. And then I'll take the part outside the circle times the whole secant again. But in this case, the part outside the circle is 6, and the whole segment is also 6. So x squared plus 5x equals 36. And I could subtract the 36 over because I noticed I had an x squared and I want to end up factoring. So x squared plus 5x minus 36. Factors of 36, got 3 and 12, 2 and 18, 4 and 9, and 4 and 9 are going to end up combining to 5. So what I need to do is, if I want positive 5, then I want a positive 9 and a negative 4. So x positive 9, x negative 4. And the roots would be negative 9 and positive 4. So I'm just going to take the positive value of x equals positive 4. And the last one here, same idea. Part outside the circle is 6. The whole secant is x plus 4 plus 6 equals part outside the circle is 10, and the whole length is also 10. So 6 times x plus 10 equals 10 times 10. Or 6x plus 60 equals 100. And then we could subtract 60 over. I don't have an x squared, so I won't need to factor. So 6x is 40, which means that x is 6 and 2/3, or 6.6 repeating. All right, that is